Hi, I'm Ryan Wright.
And I'm Jerry.
And I'm Michelle Q.
Welcome to Reasons to See,
where we give you reasons to see.
And not to see.
Star Trek Into Darkness! Warp speed ahead. Reason to see number 1. The action. There's a lot of fucking action in this movie.
There was some action.
It starts off with action, practically ends with action. It's just non-stop action.
It gives you a lot of energy.
Like, I didn't feel like this movie was non-stop action in the sense of like, it's just one long fight scene, but like there are a lot of really cool different types of fights and stuff like that. And more for me, it was like the urgency was up the whole movie.
I felt they could have dialed it back just a little bit and have that classic scene of, we're not gonna make it! And then they turn their ship sideways and, and they make it, and that's in every good science fiction film, isn't it?
What, we're not gonna make it?
We're not gonna make it with our ship, and they go through a little crack.
Yeah. They've kind of like transformed Star Trek more into like the modern era and made it a little bit less nerdy. I love Star Trek. I've been watching Star Trek like since I was a little kid with my dad, like all of the shows. I guess like it's more like in like sci-fi in the intellectual sense, and then in the J.J. Abrams like reboot, he's brought that intellectual aspect of the show, like the nerdy aspect, but also mix it in with action so that it appeals to more people. So now being into Star Trek kind of is like a cool thing, you know? It's kind of refreshed it.
Reason to see number 2. Benedict Cumberbatch.
Benedict Cucumber's amazing in this movie, man.
Yeah, Sherlock Holmes.
He's a scene stealer for sure. He has this incredible ability to be threatening, same time has moments where you get this guy, like you sympathize for him.
Or at least you think you do.
In a weird way, he's kind of just telling the truth a lot of the time. At least his version of the truth.
But that's what they say is like what makes a great villain is that they believe what they're doing is the thing to do. It's like they believe they're right. They don't know that they don't think of themselves as evil, you know?
So you can get someone who's way too threatening or someone who's way too like intellectual, and he manages to bring those two aspects together very well. His voice is very...
His voice is deeper than you think it would be looking at his face.
And, and like, I don't know, okay.
That's the first thing I thought when he started talking was, I didn't realize how deep Benedict Cumberbatch's voice is.
Reason to see number 3, Captain Kirk.
I love this actor. I don't know any other movies I've seen him in, but I really do like Chris. I love Chris Pine a lot. I think he's fucking awesome.
He's hot too.
He's charming as ever. He's one of those guys that you see is like, yep, he's a good looking motherfucker.
Yeah, I would suck his dick.
He has, okay. With this guy, he knows how to command the screen too. I mean, I think when it came to his scenes with Benedict Cucumber, he really allowed him to take over the scene. He seems like a leading actor who's not afraid to share the screen at all.
Yeah, right.
And he knows how to really lead a cast very well.
He's very cooperative.
He's funny too. He's really funny.
He's funny, but I also really just liked what they did with his character. He's constantly conflicted and meeting resistance. And
they really make Captain Kirk like the theme of the movie. Whatever Kirk has to go through. Yeah. You know, I love that whole like, you don't know how to follow the rules. You know, you're a rebel. And we don't like rebels, but you know, of course, there's always something in the rebel that makes him the exception, you know. Reason to see number 4, Spock.
Dude, man, Zachary Quinto.
They gave him a lot more to do in this one.
Yeah, man, it's like...
They let him run the show at one point, you know?
Yeah, they really played up the Spock-Kirk relationship.
I liked it.
And also they brought a little more into Spock as a character and stuff like that.
They brought like a bromance into it.
But it was like a troubled bromance. It was like trying to work through it, you know, trying to figure out where that spark is again.
Yeah, exactly. Some people are getting upset about how much they're exploring his human side, which I kind of get, because what made Spock so cool was he's half Vulcan. Yeah. And so you get to explore the Vulcan side, because that's what you want to see, because he's a Vulcan. We got to explore the Vulcan side for how many fucking years now? Yeah. Let's explore his human side, and I'm totally on board for that, because it's such a repressed side of him. It's his most fascinating side, in my opinion, because his Vulcan side always shines. It's constantly there. He's way more Vulcan than he is human.
Well, because most of the time he behaves like a Vulcan.
Yeah, he believes himself to mainly be Vulcan. He doesn't really acknowledge his human side to begin with. So when you explore his human side, and I did like how they linked it back to the first one, like, hey, my planet was blown up and that's why I'm detached from my emotions.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to argue with him on it, because you're like, I get it.
Have you lost a planet?
Yeah.
Alright, chill out. I lost all of my people and our home world. I think I'm entitled to this.
It's not like a town was destroyed. My planet was obliterated.
You guys lost your archives. I lost my entire world.
Yeah,
Alright?
what do you know about pain?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Reason to see number 5. The humor.
Something that I really liked about this movie is that they maintained that humor that was in the first one. It was such a nice thing to see because that's what made the first Star Trek so like whimsical and uplifting, and I like that they kept that.
I didn't find it as funny as the first one.
It wasn't. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, I thought it, it's called Star Trek Into Darkness, and I do think it goes in a much darker terrain than the first one did, and so I think that's why the humor wasn't as present.
I think the third Star Trek is going to be called Star Trek Into Lightheartedness. It's gonna be a complete comedy. But as it stands, there was a lot of stuff I was chuckling at, and there was a lot of stuff that I was like smiling about because I was just having a good time. And the characters, you know, say what you will about like depth and whatnot, but like all the characters had personality, and they were all, I don't know, they were just all making me laugh at some point. You know, Scotty's really fun, and Bones is fun, and you know, Captain Kirk's got his sort of, you know, Captain Kirky sarcasticness. And even just situational things.
Even Spock is funny.
Yeah, everybody gets their moment.
Reason to see number 6, visual effects.
That's probably the one thing I think everyone's gonna agree on with this film.
Yeah.
I love
they are fantastic. I saw this on IMAX 3D, and they shot 30 minutes of this with actual IMAX cameras. And for those of you who don't know why that's exceptional, is because most movies that play on IMAX screens, it only takes up like the center of the screen. This one takes up the whole fucking screen, and it has the best quality you'll ever see. It was beautiful to look at, but I can probably guarantee that even if it wasn't on IMAX, it would still look amazing.
Yeah.
I did not see it on IMAX, and it still looked amazing.
Oh, there you go.
And it was just beautiful. It was such a treat to watch.
Reason to see number 7, production design. I love like just the landscape of everything, just the attention to detail in almost every single shot. You know, whenever they go through like Starfleet or just the cities they're in, you know, like you get all these.
London in 20 whatever looks really cool, and like
San Francisco in whatever year looks amazing. Just
Nibiru, like the planets they're on,
or
like,
whenever they go through Starfleet and you see all this crazy detail in the background of all these different types of ships and whatnot.
Even of things like, you know, technology, like their guns, their torpedoes, all that stuff. It's really cool.
And the costumes were awesome. Like the makeup, all of it was great. I love the look of the new Klingons.
It's got a flare. It looks like
it's got a lens flare.
Reason to see number 8, Scotty.
They gave him more to do, and he delivered on what they gave him to do.
Well, and the thing about Simon Pegg that I love, you know, he's really funny, but also he can play really dramatic moments, and he can be very heartfelt, and they utilize a lot of his different skills.
He knows how to bring that right amount of balance, so that way it's believable. that way it's not like you're just watching a comedian on screen. You're watching somebody who's a human being who happens to be really funny at the same time.
Yeah.
They really showed why he is an essential part to the crew.
Yeah, definitely.
Reason to see number 9, cinematography.
They have some crazy angles in there, like some great, like, you know, there's some crazy moments where they'll just be like zooming in, but then turning it into a Dutch angle while they're zooming in and stuff. Right. And sometimes I thought the camera was a little all over the place, so it was kind of hard for me to tell what was going on. For the most part, there's some incredible cinematography in here.
I didn't ever think there was a moment where I couldn't understand what was going on visually. You know, I really liked just the composition of the shots, the flow of everything, the look. Every shot is like an awesome thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, even if they're just in the hull of a ship, it's like, but this is really cool looking.
Yeah, because it does have a very signature look to it. Reason to see number 10, the music.
Yeah, that's something I found myself thinking partway through this movie. I was like, this is really cool score. It's there's a lot of cool sounds and dynamics and stuff like that.
What makes a movie work so well is you take all these different categories and you turn them into like synergy. And music is such an essential part. But we don't really look at all these other things, and music is what helps really emit that emotion to the audience and
Yeah.
everything, especially when you're seeing just a series of images in front of you, and music helps make all that at a much more smooth, much more fluid.
Yeah.
And the music in this really does help amplify the experience.
Well, it's got like a throwbacky quality at times, you know, it's just really interesting to listen to, and especially that combined with just the other sound effect.
Yeah.
Like, it really makes the experience, you know, complete. Reason not to see number 1. Rushed ending. Yeah, it is a little bit. That would be my one complaint about this movie, if anything, is like...
Reasons not to see number 2. Unaddressed plot points.
The one plot point that really just stands out to me. Split decision number 1. Ineffective drama. Okay, like, I know we said a ton of great things about this film, but honestly, from watching it, I just remember not being as pulled in as I felt I should have been. I was finding myself getting distracted by a lot of things and just never really feeling the human complexity of it all going on. I couldn't feel a lot of the drama going on. It just seemed to be more about adventure and the thrills rather than actually having a more of a captivating story being told. I felt like the outline and the idea of the drama was really good. I just felt the emotional impact wasn't there.
I don't know, man. I got impacted by pretty much everything in this movie. I thought they did a good job. I mean, I was invested in it. I was with it. I bought the jeopardy. I bought the peril.
Like, at any moment, I was like, it's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be alright.
Yeah, and I can see why you would feel. I don't know exactly why I was so pulled into this particular movie, but it was, you know, the way it sounded going in, it was gonna be like, oh, there's like 10 problems at once. And it just seemed like one big problem that kept escalating like it would.
I did feel like it was like the 10 big problems at once. And I guess the reason for the ineffective drama would have to be because of our second split decision.
Oh, dang. Split decision number 2. Lacks character exploration.
This was my biggest disappointment. I felt like we didn't get to explore all of the characters. While in the first one, we got a sense of each and every one of the characters.
Yeah,
and you really like them, and you got to know them, and you're like, oh, they're an ensemble, they're great, they like work together so great. And in this one, there was a lot of uneven screen time, a lot of uneven attention to each of them, and that kind of disappointed me.
Yeah, for me, this film seemed way more about just the adventure and just the escalating thrills and the escalating danger. But part of what made part 1 so effective to me was each character had their own unique personality, and each character felt very three-dimensional. Did someone fart?
No, it was my shoe.
Okay. I felt like it was more caricatures of everyone rather than them all feeling like a true ensemble again. It didn't feel like we're hanging out with these guys again or getting to explore them more. It was like, yeah, we already established who they were in the first one, now let's just make it about the adventure.
Yeah.
And the only ones I felt like you really got to explore were Kirk and Spock. You don't really get the full grasp of everyone and the full sense of fun and dynamics of this whole cast coming together as I felt with the first one. I felt like they kind of pushed all that to the side. Like with the Doctor, they're like, hey, let's just make him a funny guy. And that was it. Like, he was just a funny guy. Whereas in part 1, he was really much more of a, not a number 2 in the way how Spock was, but much more close with Kirk. But just with the whole cast in general, there was just something there that was missing, which didn't make the drama as effective to me.
Really
because I felt like if you didn't see the first one, you probably won't give 2 shits about all these people.
Why would you? Because all you see them is on the ship, and it's like, oh, Sulu, do this. Oh, Uhura, your chancellor, okay, cool.
Yeah, Russian
check
guys.
off, go in the back.
Yeah, that's
like,
what I mean.
And it's like, okay, like, I don't give a shit about this.
It was everyone doing their job, doing their adventure, but not really getting to explore these guys.
Yeah.
Okay, so everything you guys said, but the opposite of that was the experience I had with this movie. It was like, I don't know, I really liked them as an ensemble. I thought everybody had several moments where I was like, oh yeah, you know, Bones, oh, Chekhov, oh, you know, Scotty,
But it's
nice.
moments. That was the issue. It was moments.
Well, they're not all
throughout.
going to be on screen at the same time the whole time.
I'm saying that these moments come and go, but they don't stay there resonating throughout the
It
film.
resonated for me. Like, I always thought of them as an ensemble, even though it does, it is more about the adventure than getting to know the characters. I'll give you that, which isn't a problem for me, because I feel like we got to know them, and now we know them, and things are going to change in their dynamics, but, you know, I liked what they gave me. I thought it was a great ensemble. I thought everybody, had just as much personality. I thought everyone was important, and, I really liked all the characters this time around.
Look, in the first one, you explore the characters, and you have great adventure, you have great drama. They could have done that in this second movie, and they didn't, and that's what's disappointing. Is because they could have done it, and they didn't.
This one, they did everything Star Trek 1 has, but they cut back significantly on character.
I disagree with you. I don't know what else to say. It's...
You're not agreeing with us, and that's what's getting me upset.
I didn't realize
what's wrong with you?
I didn't realize
What's
Star Trek
wrong
was
with
that
you, Jerry?
deep of a character study.
That's why people love it.
Yes!
Because
I didn't
people
realize
love Star Trek because it's the
I
characters.
didn't realize this was supposed to be There Will Be Blood or something
What makes Star Wars stand out is the characters. What makes Star Trek so unique is the characters.
It's the collaboration.
It's not
of all
just
the
about
characters
adventure
together.
and space. It's
Now,
about characters. It doesn't have to be this great character study. The first one isn't this huge character study either, but at the end of the day, they all felt way more three-dimensional than they did in this one.
Okay, well, let me just say this. In the first movie, in all the Star Trek series, the crew, they're an ensemble. They interact together. It's not just, oh, this dude talks to Kirk, and this dude talks to Kirk, and this dude talks to Kirk, and this dude talks to Kirk.
But
no,
this is
hold on, shh. It is about everyone talking to each other and interacting with each other.
Ryan's consensus. There are strong enough reasons to see Star Trek Into Darkness. There are strong enough reasons to see Star Trek Into Darkness. The stuff that I didn't really like about it, I really don't agree with strongly, which kind of makes me go, it was a disappointment. But when I look back on it, I liked it a lot more than when I first watched it.
Jerry's consensus. There are a lot of strong reasons to go see Star Trek Into Darkness. There are a lot of strong reasons to go see Star Trek Into Darkness. Yeah, man, I had a great time with this movie. I had a blast. There are a few, hiccups here and there, but nothing that really detracted that much for me.
Michelle's consensus. There are a lot of good reasons to see Star Trek Into Darkness. There are a lot of good reasons to see Star Trek Into Darkness. Despite the things that I was disappointed about the movie, all in all, I really enjoyed it. I had a great time watching it, and I would definitely recommend it to other people, and I would watch it again.
Alright guys, thanks for checking out our show. Why don't you go ahead, scroll to that comment box and tell us what is your favorite Star Trek movie. Just tell us which one you like, and if you saw this new Star Trek, tell us what you thought about it. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Even go into some of the spoilers and piss off the other people who haven't seen the movie yet, who read your comment.
Oh, and if you want to see more episodes of Reasons to See, we got a little link right down here. So why don't you go ahead and click it.
And if you want to see my straight-to-the-point review of Star Trek Into Darkness, if you want to know what the difference is, well, you just got to click that link right here.
And if you want to get updated every time a new review or a video is out,
Subscribe!
Go ahead, click on Michelle, people.
click that button.
Subscribe. We want you to subscribe so you can continue to hang out with us every week.
Yeah, punch it. Right?
Yeah, warp speed to the subscribe button.
Yeah. I could tell you really wanted to say that. Would you ever have sex with someone who had Vulcan ears? Like Will Smith?
Like real? He doesn't have Vulcan ears.
He got his Vulcan ears fixed.
He has satellite ears.
There's a really cool scene when Boba Fett shows up in the movie. New crossover. What if that ends up happening because JJ's directing Star Wars now?
No!
That would be cool.
Star
We're doing
Wars,
all
Star
these
Trek
universe
crossover.
movies. Yeah, I would love to see that.
That'd be terrible.
I would love to see like Kirk and Luke Skywalker.
There isn't even Earth in Star Wars.
And then, it's just gonna be across the universe.
It's Middle Earth.
That's Lord of the
then
Rings!
J.J. Abrams will make Battlestar Galactica the movie, and then we're gonna cross them all over.
And then, you know what?